I'm going to be making some focaccia today. So I think what I'm going to put on it probably is just olive oil and rosemary, maybe some olives or something, but I'll figure that out when we get to that point. Right now, I'm just going to start making the dough. So I'm going to use 1 3/4 cups of warm water. This is actually more like 2 cups. And so I'm going to just kind of eyeball it because I'm keeping that in reserve in case I need a little extra. And then I'm going to put some oil. And it's about a tablespoon of oil. So let me just take this off here. I'm just using my own kind of measurements because, that's how I roll. A little extra oil. Why not? It's good for you. And let's see, how much honey? We need a table. Actually, it says a teaspoon of honey, I think. But I'm putting a little more than that because I'm going to just go that way. There we go. Oh, and look at that. See, that's what happens when you put oil first on the spoon and then you put the honey. The oil helps it come right off. And then I have a teaspoon and a half of yeast, which is actually just really, it's a little more than a teaspoon. It's close to almost 2. It's one of those little rapid rise packets. So that's going right in there. And I want to make sure I get all that goodness in. I love these dishes. They were my grandfather's dishes. I have his whole set, the little bluebells. I think he got them when he, like from the banks years ago. They used to give all kinds of stuff away. And this is sea salt. And actually, I probably should have sifted it to make sure it's really nice and fine. And there are 2 teaspoons there of sea salt. So get all that. And I'm going to whisk it all together. Then I'm going to put in my flour. Just want to get it all blended. Look at that. And I'm not allowing this to bloom or do, it probably could, but the recipe that I looked at didn't say anything about allowing the yeast to bloom. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to add 4 cups of 00 flour. And I'm going to just start mixing it in with my new little whisk that I got. My little bread making whisk, which I love this whisk. Used it for the first time earlier this morning when I made that bread back there. And I'm getting to use it again. And again, like this morning, it's one of those things where you need to judge. It depends upon the humidity in the house and the temperature and stuff. Sometimes you need to add a little more water or less flour. I did put maybe a little bit of extra flour in here, and I feel like I need more water, and that's why I actually got more water here. So if you're into taking measurements, this is about 2 cups of water, and it looks like I could use a little more, but we'll see how this goes. Now I'm using a bigger bowl. Usually I use my glass bowl to mix all of this, but I've noticed that's not working these days, not with 4 cups of flour. My glass bowl is the dough is outgrowing the glass bowl, so now I'm using one of my pasta bowls. Here we go. All right. It's supposed to look a little shaggy, right? Well, that's what this does. It looks a little shaggy. I suppose I could add a little more water if I want to, but I think we're okay. We might be okay with this. I just want to get it incorporated a little bit more, if you can see that, because I want that flour to be, and I didn't sift this flour. I have been sifting the flour typically, but I didn't do that this time. So we'll see how that comes out. But I thought I might make some focaccia. Let's see how that comes out. Look at that. Oh, that's actually coming together really nicely. So I don't think I need to add any more water. I could, but I'm not going to. I just want to make sure that I get that flour all out of little clumps. There we go. And my hands, I've got like cramps in my hands, arthritis, neuropathy. It's all fun stuff. It doesn't stop me from doing the things I want to do. So thanks be to God for that. And I think we're good here. Yeah, we definitely are. It's coming together really nice. And see how this whisk is absolutely amazing. I love it. All right. Okay. I'm going to cover it. Let's move this stuff out of the way. And I'm going to let it sit, oops, in a nice warm place for, what is it, about 15 minutes. There we go. But I'm going to cover it a little more than that, right? I've got my little tea towel here, but I feel like I need more than just this tea towel. So I got a nice towel because this is going to give it some nice warmth, because the house is not exactly that warm. And I want to make sure that this stays nice and warm. Look at this, wrapping it all up because I want it to rise nicely before I go to the next step. I'll be back. So that's been left to kind of bloom for about 15 minutes. Let's take this off of it. And let's bring it out here. Look at that. So remember now, we're making focaccia. What I do want to do, though, with my hands is get a little olive oil on them. Because I may have to get my hands in there to get this out. It's unlike my glass bowl. Here we go. Where it's just going to come popping right out. But actually, it is coming right out. Now I hope I don't lose my beautiful bowl here because my hands are all oily. But yeah, it's coming out. Coming out. Look at that. Woohoo! Come on, baby. There you go. I'm just going to get the rest of it out with my hands. You can hear that sizzling in the background. That is onions that are going to get caramelized and are going to go on top of this beautiful focaccia when I get to it. But now let me just put some more. I'll put that right in there. And all I'm going to do now is just, whoa, I got the wrong side of it. Flip this around a bit. Right? Move that out of the way. Just kind of take it and turn it. Turn it around. Because I'm going to be putting it back in there, but I'm going to oil that bowl. I'm just going to do it this way. There we go. Get it nice. Because this is going to be a focaccia. So now don't forget, this is done a little bit differently than the way we do the other breads. But this in the inside here, let me see if I can just get this stuff out because I don't want it. I probably should have got a different bowl to use because I don't want everything sticking to this because I'm going to put oil in here so it doesn't stick. There we go. You just get that stuff right out. There we go. And put a little oil in here. There. This bowl actually belonged to my mom and dad. So I'm going to take this now, put this back in here. I'm going to throw that away. I'm going to wrap it up like I had before, saran wrap on the top, my tea towel and my little towel, the other towel, and put it away for about almost 2 hours, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, so that it can double in size. Meanwhile, I've got some garlic cooking back there that I'm going to put on the focaccia. I've already taken my beautiful rosemary from my rosemary plant that stays in with me all year, goes out in the summer. And I'll put some fresh rosemary on that, a little olive oil, a little bit of caramelized onions, and some garlic, and maybe a couple of olives, and we'll make that nice focaccia. Focaccia, and this proof for like another hour, almost 2 hours actually, about an hour, definitely over an hour and a half. And look at that, unbelievable, really, just amazing. So I am going to now do this. Look at that. It's just coming right off. Oh my goodness. Look at how beautiful this dough is. And it's got a proof again. It's not ready. It's not too bubbly yet. But before I put it where I'm going to put it, which is in this, I'm just using this. I'm going to oil this really good. Probably should have left the thing on and just put the deal up. But that's all right. It's all good. I'm going to oil this bottom right here. Woo! Got oil spraying everywhere. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it out here. I'm going to try to spread it as best I can. It's still not ready, so it's going to keep closing back up on itself. Now, I may not go to the whole end, but we'll see. And the pan may actually be too big for the amount of dough that I have, which is fine. I don't need it to go all the way. But I definitely want to spread it out as much as I can. There we go. Look at that. That's going. All right. So now I better get something for my hands. I have a second pan under here, as you can see. I'm going to actually proof it with that. I'm going to take this, put it right on top, put it in a really warm place, and let it rise for a little bit of time. I think the recipe says like an hour and a half. I may not let it rise that long. I might, I may not. We'll see. But I'm going to do that. And in the meantime, I just want to show you what I've got over here. This is some rosemary from our beautiful rosemary plant that we have. I chopped up. I'm going to put olive oil, rosemary. I caramelized some onions. That's going to go on there. We're going to put a few of these nice salty Kalamata olives, and I'm keeping them whole. I'm just going to put those on there. And then I did some garlic. So I roasted a little bit of garlic. I didn't roast it in the oven. I roasted it on the stove in some oil. And then I'll put some flaky sea salt over the top. But we'll see that in the next step. So now we're going to take a look at what we've got here in making this focaccia. So, oh yeah, it looks like it's risen a little more. I want this to go out. I'm going to spread this out. Oh yeah, here we go. Now, I'm going to just, because that's what focaccia is all about, isn't it? It's making all those little holes. Now, you could do this on parchment paper if you don't want the oil underneath it, but I like the oil, and so I don't have parchment paper here. All right, so I am going to put a little more oil. I wish it would have risen a little more. Probably if I would leave it a little longer, it might have. And now this is some fresh rosemary from our garden. And we're going to, oh my goodness, it smells wonderful. Probably have too much of it, so I'm not going to put this whole thing in there because I don't want to overpower it with the rosemary. There. And then I caramelized some onions. So I'm going to put that all over this. I'm going to sprinkle that around. We'll definitely put all those onions in here. Oh, this smells good. And get the rest of those in there. There we go. Ooh. Then I have some garlic. And I'm just putting those whole right on there. Okay. Next, I'm going to put a few Kalamata olives, but I don't want too many because they're salty. And I want to put some sea salt on the top of this. I need to get a thing here. And I haven't preheated my oven, so I will have to do that. I just want a few olives. And I'm not cutting the olives. I'm putting them whole. So we'll have some real bits of little saltiness where those are for sure. Maybe a couple more and that's it. I think that'll be good. Ooh, nice focaccia. I think I need a little more of this though. And a drizzle of l'olio olive. And some of this. They say put flaky sea salt. Well, this isn't so flaky. But actually, I do have some flaky salt. It's actually little salt crystals. Maybe I'll just put a little bit of this on. I just don't want to put too much. Alrighty. So that now is going to go in a, let's see, 450, I believe. 430, actually. I'm supposed to preheat my oven to 430. And then that goes in there for maybe like 18 to 25 minutes, depending upon how long it's going to take to cook it up. But this is not going to be a big, heavy, thick focaccia because it didn't rise as much as I wanted it to, but it will be a nice, thin one. So we'll see what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Okay. So this took close to 25 minutes. It is done. And I want to get it out of here and onto a cooling rack. So I'm just going to move it just like that. Look at that. Look at that. Let's look at the bottom. I want to take a peek real quick. Oh, nice. Look at that. Can you see it? It's a little hot. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Focaccia. We made focaccia. I'm going to let it cool a little because it is way too hot to cut into now. Oh, I love it. It looks really good. It smells, all you can smell, John was saying all you can smell is the rosemary, but I can smell those onions. Not really the garlic. I really can't smell the garlic, but I can definitely smell the olive oil and the rosemary and those onions, those caramelized onions. So I cannot wait till we get to take a little bite of that thing. So there you go. Focaccia.